We welcome you to Springfield, Missouri, JQH Arena, the home of the Missouri State Bears. It's the Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball game of the week. The Valley on ESPN3. Missouri State and Illinois State, a pair of 5-5 teams in the Valley standings. And right now, it's an important game to be sure as we head in to the month of February. Alizé Johnson and the Bears ready to go at home, as are we. With Dana Hughes, I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's take a look at the standings. And there's Missouri State and Illinois State neck and neck at 5-5. Indiana State's also 5-5. Look at all the 6 and 4s. And the Loyola Ramblers leading the way. And Dana, they're right now the number one seed in Arch Madness. The question is, who will be playing on Thursday? If you're Illinois State and Missouri State, you don't want any part of it.
You absolutely don't. And let's face it, this Missouri State Bears team, they're reeling. They're in desperation mode. They were a preseason favorite to win the Missouri Valley Conference. Haven't played up to par, lost the last 3 games. This is a must-win situation for the Bears.
This is a pretty young Illinois State team, but Malik Yarbrough has a ton of experience. He is definitely a player to watch today. He's a player who can do just about anything.
Yes, he can. You can see the stats. A phenomenal season so far for the junior in Yarbrough. He's done an outstanding job, not just making baskets, but making plays and being a playmaker and distributing the ball, making everyone around him much better. Conversely, Ronnie Russo for the Bears. We're going to talk a lot about Alizé Johnson. He's a double-double machine. But Ronnie Russo has done an outstanding job picking up the slack in scoring. He had 16 points against this Redbirds team earlier this season, coming off a game against Southern Illinois where he had 17 points. They desperately need that offensive production.
JQH Arena, they're ready to go, and here we go with the opening tip-off. It'll be Obadiah Church, the Springfield, Illinois native, going up against Phil Fain, two of the best leapers in the Valley, head-to-head there, and the gentleman in the white uniforms win it, and that would be Missouri State, as Jared Dixon controls. Gets it to Jared Rhodes. Those two are threats from the outside. Church, generally a shot blocker for this Missouri State team, and a travel is called. Let's give you the starting lineups. Presentation of Casey's General Store's Pizza to Pump Payoff, where the more you buy, the more you save. Pad your pocket by saving 10 cents per gallon for each large Casey's pizza you purchase. Casey's, famous for pizza. Evans, Njai, Fain, Williams, and Malik Yarbrough, the super talented player for Illinois State. And for Missouri State, Church, Dixon, Russo, Rhodes, and Alizé Johnson, the double-double machine for this Missouri State team. And a 3 is knocked down right away by Madison Williams, who had a very exciting week because he threw down a dunk against Valparaiso. That was nasty, and it went viral. Millions of views just on Twitter alone.
Yes, SportsCenter top 5 play of the day, and justifiably so. It was darn near embarrassing. I almost had to cover my eyes watching it.
Johnson lets go a 3. He's had trouble from the outside this year, shooting 28%, and Illinois State able to get the rebound with a 3-0 lead.
Well-guarded, contested shot against Alizé Johnson. And Tom, what I recognized for most of this season, Alizé Johnson seems to have a knack for taking one of the first couple of shots for the Bears in each game. So you give some credit to the Redbirds. They defended it well.
The throw too far for Obadiah Church. It's Illinois State ball. Let's get your keys to the game. A production of the Doubletree by Hilton Springfield, the preferred hotel of the Missouri Valley Conference of the Ozarks.
Well, first and foremost, they have to contain Alizé Johnson. They did a nice job in the previous matchup. They have to stop the double-double machine in Johnson. Rebound and defensive intensity has to be stepped up this evening in unfamiliar territory in a hostile environment. And for the Bears, they have to subdue the three-headed monster and set the tempo. Now, Tom, when you talk about a three-headed monster, Dan Muller has had the luxury of having 2 three-headed monsters that were totally different three-headed monsters over the last 2 seasons. A phenomenal output last year in 2016, 2017, only losing the 1 conference game. And then this year they got 3 new guys that come out and average 16 points. So the Bears have their hands full.
They do. Dan Muller always has great talent, and he has that. And if everybody stays around, there won't be a player leaving in this program. They're all underclassmen. The miss there by Evans after the relentless effort on the offensive glass by Illinois State to take a 5-0 lead. Here comes Fain, and he'll slam it on the other end, and Illinois State's off and running after the basket by Missouri State cut into a 5-0 lead. Now it's 7-2 Redbirds.
Phil Fain, one of the unsung heroes of this Redbirds program for the last couple of seasons, really has done an outstanding job with his opportunity. One of the more efficient shooters and scorers in the Valley Conference.
Russo with the miss, with the rebound by Johnson, and he's fouled on the effort. Alize Johnson, what a story he's been. 15.5 points per game. That's actually down a bit after a couple of tough efforts for him. He had a monster game in his last one. And there's Phil Fain. He has a high percentage from the floor, and the big reason why he throws him down like that. Fain has been awesome. He went 11 of 12 from the field against Southern Illinois and Valpo.
Yeah, he's a guy that's going to work inside 10 feet to the basket. He's a high motor guy, and you can see how athletic and long he is. Definitely dangerous to opposing offense.
Johnson with the miss from the stripe and Fain with the rebound. I said this recently. I don't know that he's one of the top 5 players in the league, but if I were making a top 5 of Valley players, I'd probably put Fain in my starting 5.
Yes.
I mean, he's got to be there.
Well, what you know about Missouri State is that they're a defensive-minded team, very intense. And Phil Fain had 23 points against them in the first matchup.
Just such a unique player, all the things he can do.
Captain of the team, a great leader, leads by example. As we see another off-balance shot by Alize Johnson, almost gets it down, goes back to the line.
Alize Johnson with a miss. There's Dan Muller, 6th season at Illinois State, and he's won a lot of games, 60%. Last year, how about them doing what they did and not making the tournament?
And one of the big travesties in college basketball was last year, the Redbirds only losing one conference game to Wichita State. And just because they lost in the championship, they did not get a chance to go to the NCAA tournament with a 34 RPI. A huge travesty, and I'm sure Dan Muller and a lot of these players on this team is taking it personal. Paul
Lust, the coach of Missouri State, a preseason #1, and right now they find themselves at 5-5 as Yarbrough is fouled on the drive. And it seems like every year Lusk is faced with something, a player departure or an injury. And this time, just recently, a couple of players, Reggie Scurry and Abdul Fofana, dealing with adverse reactions to cryotherapy. They had blisters on their feet. They missed the Bradley game, and they've missed every game since. And there's really no word when they'll come back. So, again, this team facing some adversity.
That's a tough thing to measure. You know, you talk about pulled muscles. Normally you can kind of gauge, give or take a few games, when a player is going to come back. But with blisters on their feet, primarily running up and down a hardwood, you never can tell how those can heal.
So Missouri State down 7 early as Illinois State putting it on them. Here's a miss by Russo, and a tip-in. Back up and in, J.T. Miller, and he can get around the rim for this Missouri State team.
Well, J.T. Miller is also a guy that stepped up his game, a big, strong guard. Not very tall, but you can tell in his shoulders he likes physicality. He's not afraid to mix it up.
Williams tried another 3, missed. Here comes Johnson. That's another thing he can do, is handle the basketball, and he will take it himself. Alize Johnson missing with the left hand. Gets the rebound and puts it in. He's focused today, you can tell.
Intensity. You and I were talking earlier, and I kind of measured him up against a Charles Barkley-esque type of game, a guy that can go coast to coast with the ball, will rebound with the best of them, even guys that are bigger than him.
They list him at 6'9", 203 as this one gets away from Evans. There were over a dozen NBA scouts the last time these two teams played, and they'll have their eye on that man. Alize Johnson with the basket. Missouri State down 3. The Valley on ESPN3 is brought to you by State Farm. Our agents have your back. Get an agent that gets you at 1-800-STATE-FARM. JQH Arena in Springfield, Missouri. Nice day here today. Temperatures in the 40s. Folks are out and about and heading on into JQH to see the Bears take on that team. Illinois State dressed in its red. Missouri State's 10-1 on the year when wearing white, we're told by the communications staff. So there they are, the white jerseys. I like those jerseys. Look at that maroon, a little gold trim. Looking sharp today, down by 3. With Dana Hughes on Tom Ackerman, Missouri State and Illinois State 5-5 in the league. And you see the comparisons stat-wise. You know, this is a very good rebounding team, Missouri State, but they've had a couple of games. Drake out-rebounded them, a much smaller team. They've had some things just haven't gone their way, just normal. And you can see the three-point shooting's an issue.
Absolutely right, Tom. And also rebounding. When you talk about rebounding, oftentimes it's about a will. It's not about the ability, especially at this level. It's about wanting to do better, be stronger in the paint. Nice job there by Romine. Physicality is the key. And this team does it as well as anyone.
Krecklow is bumped, and they're going to get Fain with that foul. And already, Missouri State is 0 for 3 from 3. Krecklow, in particular, as they get out and guard him, is a threat from 3, although he's shooting just 29% from 3 this year.
Yeah, he was 0 for 5 in their last matchup, and that's his 6th 3 that he missed.
Another miss there.
Team,
Illinois State's Hine gets the ball, and he's out there with Evans. As they run this offense, you see Evans taking a 3. He can knock him down. Krecklow gets the rebound.
That's what Ryan Krecklow does bring to this lineup, is that blue-collar work ethic. He will take a lot of offensive fouls. He'll stick his body in the mix, not afraid to rebound. Often, as you said, he can be dangerous from 3.
Tanvir Bular asking for the ball. Njai knocked it away from him. Dan Muller wants more out of Njai, especially defensively. If he's out on the floor, they want him blocking shots, causing deflections. He does that against the even taller Bular. Njai 7 feet, Bular 7'2", in the miss there. Illinois State gets it back.
When you talk about Njai, he's supposed to be a rim protector, doesn't get his hand on the ball and impose his will on shots as much as he should. He also goes games without taking a shot. So you figure a guy with that kind of height and size advantage at times, there has to be some tip-in opportunities that he's missing.
Evans tries one from the left elbow and scores. It's 11-6 Illinois State.
Good job of penetration by Evans. He does a nice job. He had some big shoes to fill. Paris Lee, Defensive Player of the Year last year, departs as the point guard, and Evans picks up right where he left off.
Evans with his first bucket after going 0 for 3 from 3 so far in this game. A battle for the ball, and Illinois State comes up with it. It's William Tinsley getting it to Evans. Evans, a dangerous three-point shooter, hit 5 of them in a game at Evansville early this year. That really just shot Evansville out of the game. He just kept firing away. Evans 45% from 3 this year.
That's a nice job by Romine down low. His presence deflecting that last alley-oop chance by the Redbirds.
Rebound to Njai. And here comes Illinois State with a 5-point lead.
And I have to watch Romine's wind and how his durability during this game. He can get tired moving up and down the court. It's going to be a task for Paul Lusk to keep an eye on that.
This one's tapped away. 3 for Evans. The miss. Bular with the rebound. Tanvir Bular, the tallest player in Missouri State history. It's 7'2", 278 pounds. Missouri State is down by 5. There is Jake Berger, the 21-year-old, born in St. Louis and a part of this White Sox organization now, but a Missouri State Bear at heart and always. He's the third baseman of the White Sox organization, and this Missouri State baseball program, terrific. And they'll be celebrating today. As a matter of fact, they're going to receive their 2017 championship rings. They won the regular season title in the Valley and a regional title as well. There are the standings of the Missouri Valley Conference standings. Presentation of Purina Dog Chow, always crafted in the USA since 1926. 5-5 for each of these combatants today. Indiana State's also at 5-5. Loyola leading the way with an 8-2 conference record. They just dismantled Northern Iowa on Sunday afternoon. And Bradley, they went into Indiana State and picked up a win. Brian Wardle's Braves are playing really well. They've bought in defensively. They look solid. You know, there's something about when you tear a program down to its core and you start fresh, those players have bought in together.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, that dreaded R word that no one ever wants to say is rebuilding, but it is necessary at times. Sometimes you have to take a step back to get 2 steps ahead, and you got to give credit to those programs that are out there that are getting it done.
Here comes Illinois State with a 5-point lead. Williams tries another 3 and buries it. Second 3 for Madison Williams. And suddenly, Illinois State has opened up an 8-point lead. Williams 2 of 3 from 3.
Well, you saw a little bit of what Malik Yarborough can do. His ability to see the floor, kick that ball out to Williams in the corner for the open jump shot. Demands so much attention.
Boy, he can dish, he can rebound, and he can score. Hine takes a 3. That won't go, but it's tapped back to him as Njai has remained active inside. Well, Illinois State just seems to be quicker to the ball and making things happen early on.
Well, you and I were talking before the game about how fun this game was going to be as we see Yarborough get fouled on the arm by Obadiah Church as he tries to drive to the hoop there. Right here, a little hesitation. Clears out with the left arm, or I should say the right arm, and gets clipped right on the right elbow on the shot. But we talked about how fast-paced this game was going to be. It was going to be a fun game, and right now Illinois State has dictated the tempo, in part because of extra hustle plays, tip-outs on rebounds. But I think most importantly, the one thing that jumps out to me, Tom, is this team going to a 3-quarter court press, slowing down the pace of the Bears, forcing them to play at their tempo, and it's working well for them right now.
And this Missouri State team, which made 25 field goals at Illinois State on January 7th, that was a season best in conference for them, is 0 for its last 7 from the floor. They haven't scored a point in 5 minutes. And Illinois State has controlled play so far. We're about halfway through the half, just a half dozen for Missouri State. Miller, the bounce, gets it back. Draws the foul from Fain. No shot, it'll be on the floor, says Paul Jansen, the official.
Nice job, good bounce passes, open windows right there. Good pump fake. Thought that JT would have went up a little bit earlier to try to get the and one there, but did get the foul, the second on Phil Fain.
So Fain has to come out of the game. He'll take his seat as Illinois State responds by putting Isaac Gassman in the game for the first time, wearing number 0. Shot clock under 10. Quick pass inside. Miller with the strong left hand.
Short in stature, but does create a lot of space and seems to always have a knack for finding that open window to shoot the ball under the basket.
You're right about that. I mean, he's listed at 6'2", 190. He plays a lot bigger than that. He can get to the rim and attack. This one hits and gets past 3 Bears and back to Illinois State. Miller skies for the rebound, loses it. Here comes Yarborough and misses the layup. Illinois State has had a 7-0 advantage in points off turnovers and almost another one there.
That's a nice job by Miller, keeping his composure, gave up the ball on the turnover, but still played solid defense to force the errant shot.
A miss by Dixon, and Missouri State continues to struggle from the outside. Dixon's missed now 0 for 7 as a team from 3.
We talked about it a little earlier how Illinois State was able to beat this Bears team earlier this season by out-rebounding them in the first half and just the extra hustle plays. And if you add a little bit of a cold offense, it could be a long night for the Bears. They can't get things going.
Yeah, 3-point shot. You know, I was listening to Art Haynes, the Hall of Fame broadcaster from Missouri State on radio. He does a radio show here locally. Was listening to it today, and one fan called in and said, you know, they're just tired of the 3-point shot. They think it's taken away from college basketball. Too many people are taking the shot. Well, That may be true, but when you're making them, it's a whole lot better.
That's right.
And they're not making them around here, and I can sense the frustration for sure.
Well, you're talking about the transition of basketball. You no longer have a lot of success with just the big five. You have a stretch five that can shoot it from outside at all levels. And you see Williams gets to travel there, a little bit impatient. But I think it's just the evolution of the game, Tom. That's where we are now, where bigger guys are being taught earlier to dribble the ball, shoot the ball. You got the Kevin Durant's at nearly 7 foot and Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, you have several where it used to be just a couple here and there. Now, just about every lineup has it at the next level.
Missouri State 4 of 17 from the floor overall, shooting 23%. Alizé Johnson buries the first three of the game for the Bears. And Johnson says hello. He checks in with a three and has 5 points.
Gotta love the intensity by Alizé Johnson. I think the pro scouts, when they're watching this young man, that's the intangible that separates him from a lot of guys his size. The willingness to get dirty, to rebound, the extra efforts on both ends of the court.
The soft touch for Illinois State as Evans hits another jumper. He has 4. He's missed all 4 of his three-point attempts, but has a couple of twos. And Illinois State takes a 6-point lead. We're under 8 minutes in the first half. JQH Arena in Springfield. The bounce to Boulard, puts it in with the left hand. Tanvir Boulard, the big 7'2" center. Missouri State cuts it to 4.
It's an excellent job again by Miller finding that window.
Gassman with the miss, and Boulard doesn't even jump. He just reaches out and gets that orange basketball. Johnson guarded by Williams as they come out and attack. Here comes Johnson and can't crack the defense. Boulard grabs the board and puts it back up. No, and it gets stuck.
Look who's in there in the mix.
It's going to go the other way.
Look who's in there in the mix. JT Miller with the extra efforts, and things have turned up here at JQH. The Bears are getting things going with Alizé Johnson.
Illinois State leads Missouri State by 4 in a Valley tussle here in Springfield, Missouri. Tonight's Enterprise Bank and Trust MVC Scholar Athlete of the Game is Illinois State's Michaela Unger, a sophomore soccer forward from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Unger had 4 goals and 2 assists for a total of 10 points in 2017. She has a 3.77 cumulative grade point average in health education, 2-time All-MVC choice, 2016 Freshman of the Year, the official bank of the Missouri Valley Conference, Enterprise Bank and Trust, member FDIC. A couple of fouls on Phil Fain, but that hasn't stopped Illinois State from keeping this lead. That's one thing to watch, but they can rebound the basketball, Dana Hughes.
Yeah, they're having struggles underneath. Give a lot of credit to the Redbirds. This is unfamiliar territory for the Bears. Usually a great rebounding team, struggling. So many red jerseys around the paint, and also just the concept of the zone defense helps them tremendously on the defensive rebounding end of the floor.
Missouri State overall out-rebounding Illinois State 16-14, but 5 offensive rebounds so far for Illinois State. An air ball there. Malik Yarbrough, and here comes Missouri State back the other way. Alizé missing on the right side of the rim. Missouri State near the bottom of the league in shooting threes as Yarbrough misses from closer range. Russo, an exciting player, has the ball now. Missed time last year. You certainly sense the loss on the Missouri State side, but he was handling some personal issues, and he is back as a force this year. He is fun to watch.
Well, last year they had the luxury of having DeQuan Miller be that point guard scoring threat. He departed as a senior, and they needed someone at that point guard. Jared Dixon does an outstanding job at the 2. Great defense. Ryan Krecklow, we talked about his abilities, especially defensively. They needed somebody to be that spark at the point, and Russo has really stepped up.
Illinois State Some perimeter passing, trying to find an opening. They hit Yarbrough inside, now back out. And Bruninga hits the three. A good-looking player. Bruninga, the freshman from Mapleton, Illinois, and he can do just that. He can score in bunches. In high school, it certainly did. It continues to adjust to the Division I game. Johnson tries another three and doesn't get the bounce.
Those are the shots that they're forcing Alizé Johnson to take. And Dan Muller and his team is very comfortable doing so as Yarbrough comes through with another bucket for the Redbirds.
Yarbrough with 8 points now as he hits the three. And Illinois State has opened up a 10-point advantage. And again, Missouri State going cold from the floor, 0 for their last 5. No points in the last 2.5. Alizé Johnson missed the shot, and Yarbrough buried it.
See, the Redbirds really doing a nice job creating that space, penetration and kicking out to the wings, knocking down jump shots. Yarbrough, 8 points, 5 rebounds thus far in this game. And one other factor, he's also had the knack, as we knew coming into this game, Tom, finding the open guys in this zone and against this defense for the Bears.
Neither team shooting particularly well, but Illinois State 33% and knocked down 4 big threes. That's been a big difference here with a 10-point lead, and they've really locked down defensively. Dan Muller's team is holding off this Missouri State team that scored 77 against Southern Illinois on Saturday. Miller can't find Johnson. Shot clock under 10, gets it back. He'll go behind the back, and it's taken away by Hine. The Redbirds looking to open up more damage with this double-digit lead. Yarbrough feeling it, and the rebound skied and grabbed by Miller.
Redbirds defense pushing out this Bears offense to the perimeter. Yes, it's a 3-point game, and both teams have guys that are willing and able to shoot it at any time. They're making it extremely difficult for the easy layups or any actual shots that are inside or near the paint.
Krecklow fouled on the baseline by Yarbrough. For Malik Yarbrough, that's his. Actually, they're going to call that foul on Williams, I do believe. Looked like they had Yarbrough at first. Now they're going to call it on Williams. For Williams, that's his first. Again, 2 fouls on Phil Fain, and taking advantage of that is Alizé Johnson. Without the big man inside, Johnson is trying to work over a smaller Illinois State lineup right now.
Excellent job seeing the mismatch by Alizé Johnson. Now, there's been a few times down court where Johnson has been matched up with Evans trying to guard him, and there with Williams. Huge size advantage for Alizé Johnson. He's able to take advantage of it.
He's a good free throw shooter, too. 76% on the year. Missouri State as a team shoots 70% from the stripe. And they cut back into the lead. It's now 7. Hine, good dish. And the three missed by Bruninga. Tried to knock down another one. Johnson somehow gets through a couple of Redbirds and scores.
Gonna call him Plastic Man. He just slid through with the Euro step.
Now Yarbrough's gonna try. The dish outside, and an offensive foul is called.
Number 8 on the season for Ryan Krecklow. The extra effort by Ryan Krecklow gets the turnover, and Alizé Johnson doing it in the paint.
Illinois State leads Missouri State by 5 with 3:36 to go before halftime. It'll be our halftime report, a presentation of State Farm. The home court advantage wherever you are. Get an agent that gets you at 1-800-STATE-FARM. Dan Lucy, who just went into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame on Sunday. We'll have a profile on Ryan Krecklow. Look at our Penn Station first half recap and our Period of Dog Chow first half stats. Right now, the stats not looking so pretty in terms of shooting percentage. Both teams with an identical 8 for 26, 30.8%. Just 1 of 10 from 3 for Missouri State.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah, that's the one that jumps out to me, Tom.
Illinois State's launched 16 threes and made 4, so they've sort of had a rough time as well from beyond the arc.
Missouri State, after starting off slow, 4 of their last 8 shots have gone in over the last 6 minutes and 30 seconds. After starting 4 of 17 for the earlier part of the game.
Grecklow misses his 3, so it's now 1 of 11. Johnson suddenly has 10 points to go along with 5 rebounds. Keep an eye on him as he closes in on a double-double. It won't take long.
Dan Muller did a nice job with adjustments at halftime in the previous matchup between these two teams. Alizé Johnson started off that game pretty strong and was quiet for most of the second half. Seems to be back to that same type of form in this game as another turnover for the Redbirds. Great defense by the Bears.
Williams stepped out of bounds. And so the Bears working on a scoring drought for Illinois State of 2.5 minutes. Now with a chance to cut it to 3, maybe 2. And taking the shot and getting fouled is Rhodes. That's team foul number 9 on Illinois State. Missouri State's only committed 3 fouls. So Rhodes will go to the free throw line. He'll shoot 2. Jared Rhodes, an outstanding outside shooter. At the free throw line, he's as solid as they come, 80% coming into the game. You know, the thing about him too, Danon, is he's typically a perimeter player, but that game at Evansville, when they needed some inside presence, he really got in there, got some of the dirty work done, and really showed a willingness to play in the lane. That was encouraging.
Well, it's amazing when you get tagged as one thing or one aspect of the game. A catch and shoot guy, a spark off the bench, but he's been in this starting lineup, and as you said, he's kind of evened out his game, really being a huge asset at both ends of the court for the Bears.
Evans leaves it for Tinsley, and that one falls short for William Tinsley. Here comes Johnson again.
Saw that rebound by Alizé Johnson. It just seemed like when the ball's in the air, again, right there off the rim, he just has that innate ability.
He got rejected there, now double teamed, and this one gets away from him. And Alizé Johnson sits on the hardwood right in front of a applauding Illinois State bench. Nearing the 2-minute mark here in the first half. This Missouri State team really misses Reggie Scurry.
Yes, they do.
That's a player that can get those tough rebounds and points for you inside. And with him out, they miss that. Bruninga splashes a 3. Oh, man, you can see why they loved him out of high school. He can score a ton of points as he continues to adjust to the physical nature of this Valley season.
You can get that kind of production off the bench by Bruninga. It can be a long day for opponents. He's long, he has a nice frame on him, still growing into his spot, into his position.
Miller turns around, can't get the shot. Njai fought for it, but Rhodes came up with it. Now falling down is Hine, and Rhodes will take advantage, misses the 3. The ball goes to Njai. Nearing the 1-minute mark, Illinois State by 7 at Missouri State, a game between 5 and 5 teams in the Valley. Missouri State's season low for points and a half was 22 against North Dakota State in mid-November. Bruninga scores again, and Illinois State takes a 9-point lead. Taylor Bruninga, the freshman, has come alive here in Springfield, Missouri. Bruninga just takes it away and puts it off the glass and in. You talk about adjusting. You'd say, oh, I can't adjust to the Valley? How about that? As a freshman, Huge play, and Dan Muller, you see fist pumping in the background. Love to see that. You know, it's interesting. As the season goes along, freshmen can gain confidence, and suddenly when February rolls around, you have a major player on your hands. We've seen that.
1, 2, 3.
We saw it and have seen it at Bradley with Elijah Childs. There's a freshman to keep an eye on. And Taylor Bruninga leading the way, a co-leader now with Malik Yarborough with 8 points. Shot clock down to 10 and the jam by Church. So Illinois State presumably will play for the last shot here with the shot clock off and a 7-point lead. Would be a big stop for Missouri State going into halftime. Something to hang their hat on. They are out rebounding this Illinois State team 24-21, but Evans with the drive. Bruninga is in the right place at the right time again. The awareness, the freshman, 10 points, and Illinois State goes into the break with a 9-point lead on Missouri State. Dan Muller's team in a great position as we head into halftime. Time to check in with Missouri State head coach Paul Lust for today's Casey's General Store plans for the second half.
Well, Coach, you guys started off a little bit slow, seemed to get some momentum late in that half.
Yeah.
What kind of adjustments you guys have to make in the second half to kind of capitalize?
Well, we've really struggled to score. They haven't scored at a great rate, but what started the game, we did get a rebound, and we got them to miss, but we got to fix that, and we got to try finding some rhythm offensively.
You talk about the rhythm offensively. Both teams not shooting well from beyond the arc. How do you kind of make that adjustment and try to penetrate that zone defense?
I think we've gotten it in there a couple times. I've taken too many threes all to get inside us.
Well, good luck the second half, Coach.
Thank you, Dana. Our chat with the coaches brought to you by Casey's General Store. Casey's famous for pizza. It's Missouri State down by 9 at the break. Illinois State with a 9-point lead on Missouri State here at the break, about to start the second half. Let's look at the first half stats. A production of Purina Dog Chow, always crafted in the USA since 1926. The field goal percentage rather low as Illinois State has edged them in that category. Missouri State out rebounding the Redbirds, and the three-point shooting. Right now, it's been a rough time. 1 of 12 for Missouri State. You see the points in the paint as well. When we come back, we'll have second half action from JQH Arena. The Valley on ESPN3 is brought to you by Casey's General Store. Casey's, famous for pizza. Let's get Illinois State coach Dan Muller's plans for the second half.
Well, Coach, neither team is lighting it up beyond the arc in this game so far. What kind of adjustments do you guys have to make in this second half to kind of get the easier buckets?
Offensively, I thought we took a handful of bad threes before we got the ball to the paint, and yet we want our guys to be aggressive. They played a lot of zone. We got to make some shots, but I was most excited about our defense.
Coach, mixed it up, zone and man, kind of kept them off balance. How do you continue that in the second half?
Well, I like both of them right now. We're playing pretty consistently, but it sometimes depends who's in the game for them, who's in the game for us, foul trouble. We got to clean up the boards, but I like having both zone and man available to us.
Well, good luck in the second half.
Thank you, Dana. Our chat with the coaches brought to you by Casey's General Store. Casey's, famous for pizza, and we get underway here in the second half with Missouri State, starting with the basketball. Russo will control things for the Bears, who are down by 9 here in the second half. Dixon finding Alizé Johnson. They immediately double the double-double machine as Russo steps back and misses a jumper. Tipped back, and it's Russo again. Rhodes travel. Turnover by the Bears, and already Illinois State has an opportunity to go up by double digits.
They were up by 10 points in the first half. Like you said, they have an opportunity, but the player to watch, as we spoke about early in the game, Ronnie Russo hasn't been able to get things going. 0 for 3 from the field in this game so far.
Phil Fain sat out a portion of that first half with 2 fouls. Yarbrough splashes the shot. And Illinois State with an 11-point lead as Yarbrough now is in double figures with 10.
So tough to match up with when he gets the ball around the elbow there. As you see another shot attempt by Russo. Conscious effort to try to get hot coming out of the locker room. The ball's just not dropping for him.
Missed the open three. He's 0 for 4 from 3. 0 for 4 from the floor. 0 for 2 from 3. And then a 3 goes in for Keyshawn Evans. And Illinois State takes a 14-point advantage. Evans' first 3 of the game. He has 7.
So impressed with Keyshawn Evans, how he leads this team.
Church gets fouled underneath. Boy, how about the hurdle? Are you kidding me?
Now that's the second time the Bears have had the ball down in the paint. Last time it was JT Miller, this time Obadiah Church, where they basically avoided the foul, looking for the basket instead of the and one opportunity, and got leapfrogged there.
Wow, so Yarbrough, his 3rd foul. He's going to come out of the game here. There he goes. Into the game comes Tinsley. So that's a bit of a concern, even though Illinois State's padded a nice 14-point lead. Their star is out, at least for a little while. Here in the first minute and a half of the second half. Church rolls it in. So Church makes 1 of 2. And Illinois State led by 9 at the break, up by 13. Fein to Tinsley. And the rebound bounced to Njai. Now it's Evans. And can't get that roll. Alizé Johnson fighting for it, and a foul called inside goes against Illinois State. They get Tinsley with that one.
Yeah, William Tinsley, you've seen, they've done it consistently in this game. The Redbirds tipping the ball to each other, not really trying to grab the rebounds, recognizing the rebounding force that the Bears have down low between Obadiah Church and obviously what we've seen from Alizé Johnson as miscommunication opens up an easy bucket for Obadiah Church there.
Church with the basket now has 5 points.
Good court vision there to see the open opportunity, an easy layup.
And now a fight for it, and Russo causes a turnover.
There's the presence of Ronnie Russo. Second time down court where I thought Russo was very close to getting a steal right there. Just off the hands of Evans, turnover for the Bears.
6 turnover for Illinois State, an 11-point lead for the Redbirds. The Bears student section, there's the Missouri State Fanikin, Candy May. Candy May was not all in one piece, though, moments ago. Good to see her back, but they just passed Candy May around, and
the ultimate game face right there. If you ever want a poker face, look at Candy May.
She's locked in. Bears need all the help they can get right now. They are down by 11 points. They're 2-6 when trailing at the half. And they were down by 9 at the break. Illinois State, a good team when leading at halftime, 10-2. They're 11-11 on the season, are the Illinois State Redbirds. Both these teams 5-5 in conference play. This is a very important game, especially for Missouri State at home, as Russo dishes to Church and can't get it to go, but gets his own rebound. Now Dixon with the new shot clock. Russo for 3 comes up short, and Evans with the rebound.
Seems like Ronnie Russo offensively really doing a nice job defensively, but offensively seem to be pressing just a bit. Phil Fain misses the contested layup.
Can the Bears take advantage? Russo. And it'll go back the other way. They're going to call a foul on Church. So Obadiah Church gets whistled for the foul. The MVC Fan Hangout, the perfect gathering place before and after games during Arch Madness, located at Ballpark Village in downtown St. Louis, just across the street from Busch Stadium. For additional information, visit archmadness.com. Can't wait to see you in St. Louis for Arch Madness. It's anyone's tournament. The toss inside, Fain, and the block by Church. He falls down after an incredibly athletic play, and Rhodes on the other end with the lay-in. Wow, what a block by Church on Fain.
Outstanding turn of events. Excellent effort by Obadiah Church. Watch how he's able to avoid the contact, pin up against the glass, falls down, and then gets everything going with the fast break, and Jared Rhodes coast to coast for the layup. But Obadiah Church, my goodness.
They just called a quick timeout to check on him. Gary Maxwell asked him if he was okay. And he is. He actually braced his fall with his legs, so he didn't fall on his hip or his back. And Missouri State is now whittled it down to 9. Here's a fighting Fain, and it'll go the other way as Church was right in the middle, and that is another foul on Phil Fain, his third. Do we have a ball game? Maybe. Back in a moment. Illinois State with a 9-point lead on Missouri State early second half. The Missouri Valley Conference is celebrating 25 years of women's athletics during the 2017-18 academic year. You can find out all you need to know about this season-long recognition by visiting NBC-sports.com/women25. Here at JQH Arena, where the women's team has a ton of history, a Final Four that was in St. Louis. And this men's team wants to get back to a roaring program, and they have had a little trouble this year after being a preseason number 1. A 5-5 record, and that man trying to send them to 5-6. Alizé Johnson and the Bears trying to keep themselves in this game. Obadiah Church with a terrific block of Phil Fain. Fain just committed his third foul by running over Church.
Yeah.
And now Illinois State has got to play a little defense here.
Obadiah Church has definitely been the player of this second half for the Bears, offensively and defensively. Remember, an extra effort on the rebound. He went down the lane, missed the layup, tipped it back out. Then a couple of defensive gems. Trying to kickstart this Bears team in a comeback. Here's that zone by the Redbirds. Just kind of stifles the offense for the Bears. If they're not able to knock down the threes, that's where they're going to find the open areas.
Shot clock at 2. Miller lets it go. Rhodes fighting for the rebound with Bruninga, and it ends up in Evans' hands. Evans pulls up and hits the three. Keyshawn Evans hits another three. That's his second of the game, and he now has 10. 3 players in double figures for Illinois State. Evans, Bruninga, and Yarbrough. Long three for Russo, bounces over the backboard. And here comes Yarbrough back into the game, playing with 3 fouls.
How about Keyshawn Evans not seeing a shot or not feeling a shot that he can't make, and he comes down no matter if it's early in the shot clock or with his back pressed up against it. He does a nice job of just being a spark for this offense, a true leader on the court, getting it done.
Yarbrough tries to toss inside to Fain, and it's batted away. Well, you're right. Evans is so good, especially running the break and just pulling up and popping, and he buries a three. That can take a lot of life out of you. And now Illinois State trying to add on. Bruninga open, hits it again. Bruninga with his third three.
15-point lead in enemy territory for the Redbirds.
And now the 3 balls are falling for Illinois State, and they are not falling for that team. That is now 1 of 16 for Missouri State. Illinois State has hit 8 of 23 from 3.
If you turned on this game in the second half, you'd think it's been like this all evening, when it hasn't. Neither team really shot it well in the first half, but my goodness, whatever they drank in the locker room at halftime, the Redbirds, I think the hometown Bears needed a little sip of it themselves.
They've hit 4 of 6 from 3 here in the second half. Illinois State has. And now their largest lead of the game at 18 on a 21-8 run. Russo with a little runner. And that won't go. Church puts it back in. Obadiah Church has had a good second half.
Well, Tom, I'm no mathematician, but if you continue to get 2s while the other team continues to get 3s, it's never going to work out for you. At some point in this game, there's going to have to be a spark from beyond the arc for the Bears to get back in this, as Yarbrough draws the foul against Jared Rhodes. Nice drive to the bucket.
Drive by Malik Yarbrough. He goes to the line where he's 3 of 4 today. Look at the strength. His ability to get to the bucket and get to the free throw line. Yarbrough, the transfer from St. Louis University. He was an excellent freshman there. Good player for that SLU program. Yep. He comes over here and has shown the ability, Danon, to be able to post up smaller players and take bigger players out for a little trip beyond the arc. And he can be a difficult matchup problem.
Yes, he can. And you consider he got to this program last year, had to sit out. Imagine if this Illinois State team would have had him on the floor with the rest of the powerful lineup that they had last year, that dangerous trio, Deontay Hawkins, Paris Lee, and Mikhail McIntosh. Add Yarbrough to the mix there. They wouldn't miss the NCAA tournament. They'd probably win a few games in there as well.
Yarbrough 5 of 6 from the line. Here's a little flip up in the air by Dixon. Gets it back, puts it up and in. A tough 2 for Jared Dixon.
Always loved watching Jared Dixon and that floater. He's done a nice job ever since he was a kid in Kansas City. Finding that open window in zones, driving to the basket, and just has that nice touch on the ball to shoot it up over the taller bodies.
Lofting up and in for Njai. Illinois State's just doing everything right here, and Missouri State is getting beat to the bucket. 48-30. You just can't keep your eye off the threes. I mean, 1 of 16 for Missouri State. We talked about how cold they were going in. Now Njai with the block. And he gets pulled down and fouled by Dixon in frustration. So impressive has this defense of the Redbirds. Stifling the Bears right now on the perimeter, forcing them to put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket where you have rim protectors there. Like Njai, helping things out. Yarbrough goes out of the game again, and Keyshawn Evans trying to lead things in. And there's Phil Payne, usually a knockdown guy from inside the paint, doesn't get the drop there. He hasn't had a nice game as well. He got in foul trouble earlier. He's trying to get things going for himself on the offensive end. Payne with just 2 points, 3 rebounds, playing with those 3 fouls now. And Illinois State with its biggest lead, 18. Evans has 10 points. He's hit a couple of threes. 12 for Malik Yarbrough and 13 for Taylor Bruninga as Evans misses. Njai with the board. Here's Gassman, gets the roll. Isaac Gassman gets into the action, his first basket.
This has to be very frustrating for Paul Lusk. You can't be in a zone defense and allow that kind of easy rebound by Njai to kick it out for the easy bucket there.
Rhodes with the drive, and he's fouled. We'll go to break. It's a 20-point lead for Illinois State.
Offense goes out and gets it done. Njai, outstanding job with the athleticism, the adjustment, and the jam.
Join us on Friday, February 2nd for women's basketball on the Valley on ESPN3. Evansville will host Indiana State at the Ford Center. Evansville, Indiana. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Central. The Valley on ESPN3. Illinois State, a team that went 17-1 in the Valley last year. An outstanding season. Look at that regular season, 27-6. They're going to the NCAA tournament. No, they don't get in.
Unfortunate. Like I said earlier, I'll repeat it. The biggest travesty that I saw in the 2016-2017 season was the Redbirds not representing this conference in the NCAA tournament. 34 RPI. One conference lost with a conference that has Wichita State, UNI, Loyola, a lot of great teams, a lot of very good teams, and yet they get the snub. So unfortunate for that man right there. That was his first graduating class after taking over at the helm, and they didn't go out on the note that they wanted to, that they deserve.
That class that had been through so much, including the tragic loss of the Redbirds 7, plane crash following the 2015 Final Four in Indianapolis, and that Illinois State program, which continues to show that it has a bright future with this young team. They're going to be very good next year. But I'll tell you, as Rhodes with the miss and the rebound by Yarbrough, they have a chance this year. I mean, this is an open tournament.
Yeah.
If there's any evidence, you look at the preseason 1 and 2, Missouri State down in this game, and a jam by Njai. Oh, my goodness. Are they dominating right now?
Dominating.
A 20-point lead. And you know what? Northern Iowa was rated high. They're near the bottom. It is anybody's tournament. You get into Arch Madness, you win it, you're in the NCAA tournament, try to do damage.
You're right. And you can see right there, Mueller jumping out and dropping down the 20-footer. They need that kind of production from him, but the defense has really stepped up for the Bears these last couple of possessions. Deflection by Jared Dixon.
Fain with the turnaround. That one won't go. Gets it back. Works on Rhodes and gets an easy 2.
The rebounding by the Redbirds against a normally dominant rebounding team in the Bears. Now, granted, they are missing a couple of their big guys. Reggie Scurry, that force in the middle, desperately missed. They're feeling the pains of that.
Fain can't retrieve it. It'll stay here for Missouri State. Boy, people probably tuning in now saying, I wonder what's going on in that Missouri State, Illinois State. Whoa, 20 points at the 9:51 mark, and if there's any chance for Missouri State, they've got to go on a run right here.
Well, their lineup right now dictates the ability to shoot the ball from beyond the arc. Ryan Krecklow's in the game. Jared Dixon will pull up. Alize Johnson has an errant pass. Almost gets intercepted by Keyshawn Evans.
Just a little bit quicker, a step faster to the ball, and there's a bounce in their step right now. Keyshawn Evans bouncing up and down and applauding. With a 20-point lead, the confidence is oozing from the Illinois State team. Evans with the long rebound on the miss. Yarbrough driving, blocked by Church, gets it back, and again up and in. Malik Yarbrough with the basket. 14 for Yarbrough. Whistle away from the ball, and they're going to call a foul. That'll go against Illinois State.
The extra effort, you got it. If you're Dan Muller, you're really, really impressed. And you can tell at halftime when we spoke to him, he understood what the task was at hand for his team to come out victorious in this game. And they're doing a lot of the things that they did well in the first half, again in the second half. Rebounding the ball, setting the tempo, knocking down threes.
Evans hits another one. He hit one from that exact spot a little while ago. His third three, he has 13 points. After Bruninga committed his second foul, Hine and the Redbirds just took the ball away and then found Evans for the three.
Well, the Redbirds up 25 points right now, Tom. This is the largest lead of the season versus any Division I opponent. So, talking about
That is unreal.
clicking on all cylinders, that's exactly what we're seeing with the Redbirds right now.
You thought Missouri State fans were concerned before this game, and they were. Wow. Miller with the drive, and he'll go to the line to try to complete a three-point play.
There's the strength of J.T. Miller. We see right here, Yarborough getting to the bucket, missing a couple of layups, but still the presence inside, and Keyshawn Evans knocking down the tray. They just continue to come right at you. Redbirds all evening long, building up that lead.
You just saw Yarborough just kept going after the ball. Nobody was boxing him out. He said, well, I'll just stand right here and take it. Hine loses it. Johnson keeps it alive. Krecklow falls down over Hine. And the foul is called. That's going to go against Hine. And for Illinois State.
Right there, the extra effort by Hine just kind of gets the leg whip on Ryan Krecklow. Obvious foul. Will send Krecklow to the line.
So that's,
I'm sorry, Tom.
That's the 8th team foul, so that's why we have a 1-and-1 opportunity here for Krecklow.
Well, this is where Krecklow can find that stroke. He hasn't hit the three very well in 2 matchups. And I remember reading an article with NBA players, when they want to find their stroke, they go to the free throw line. Even guys that are dangerous from behind the arc, they get to the free throw line just to get that touch and see that ball go through the net. Helps them tremendously with their confidence. Maybe he can turn it up here.
First points of the game for Krecklow. A 21-point lead. It's been as big as 25. Big reason this man, Keyshawn Evans, throws inside. Njai couldn't get the roll, and here comes Alizé. The dish, Miller, and can't get it to go. Can't get the tip to go either. Nothing falling for Missouri State today, shooting 29%. We're under 8 minutes. Illinois State looking to play closer now and go 6-5 in league play. And a steal by Alizé, and a foul is called as Johnson gets fouled by Evans. Timeout on the floor, 7:40 to go, and a lot of ground to make up for the Bears. A dominant performance thus far by Illinois State, leading Missouri State by 21 on the road. The Missouri Valley Conference will conduct its 28th chapter of Arch Madness March 1st through the 4th at Scottrade Center in downtown St. Louis. You can purchase tickets today through your school's athletics ticket office or by visiting archmadness.com. It has been madness this season looking at the standings. And Alizé Johnson now with his 16th double-double. He ranks 4th nationally for double-doubles. In that awesome season last year, he had 17. He already has 16, 10 points, 10 rebounds for Johnson. But Missouri State is down by 21 points. Let's take a look at Alizé.
Well, Alizé does all the dirty work. And what's so impressive to me, and I'm sure impressive to a lot of the NBA scouts, is his motor. That's something you can't teach. A guy that's willing to be that blue-collar worker under the boards and on the offensive end.
Alizé Johnson, the 6'9 senior, at the line where he shoots 76% on the season. Cuts the lead to 19, but it has been a disappointing night, to say the least, for Missouri State. Still 7.5 to go, and an opportunity to make a little noise here, but now's the time. Up in the air and missing is Yarborough, but right back is Fain. I mean, they are just owning that area of the lane.
Every time the Bears go into that zone, seems like the Redbirds find a way to get the ball inside and have those type of plays.
Johnson can't make that shot. Now Dixon from the baseline can't get that to go, and Bruninga has it bounce off of it. It'll stay here. Missouri State now shooting 27%. What an effort defensively by this Illinois State team. As the game has gone on, they haven't lost an ounce of energy, it seems. This three is made by Mustafa Lawrence, who just entered the game. They get a little spark from Lawrence, their freshman from Newark.
From my neck of the woods, back up in Jersey. Love to see the East Coast guys out here. Taking advantage of his opportunity, knocks down his first shot of the game.
Yarborough works around Church, throws inside to Fain, no, and the rebound for Dixon. Last chance for Missouri State. Johnson gets it blocked. He dribbled into traffic. Here comes Hine.
A little out of control there by Alizé Johnson.
Church had a near steal. Bruninga, no, and the rebound to Krecklow. Gets around Yarborough, looks ahead across court to Dixon. Instead, he goes to Lawrence. Church is knocked down. Bruninga fell on top of him, and the foul is called.
That's a good look by Lawrence there. Nice bounce pass in the paint. Another head fake. Good control by Obadiah Church.
Third foul at Bruninga. And that is the 10th foul this half. Double bonus, 2 shots the rest of the way. Missouri State has only committed 3 fouls this half and only 6 for the game.
Pretty clean game by the Bears. Outside of not being able to knock down the three-pointer, I think that's pretty much the story of this game. 2 of 19 from beyond the arc.
If they're going to come back, they'll have to live at the free throw line. That or suddenly get hot from the outside, where they are 2 of 19 today.
Well, Tom, earlier this season, Illinois State was up by 14 points in the second half against Southern Illinois and gave up that lead. So there's definitely nothing that's going to make Dan Muller comfortable over there on the bench. No lead at this point until the clock hits 0.
Working the shot clock under 10 for Fain. And they call the foul to go against Church. For Obadiah Church, that's his 3rd. So Fain will go to the line for Illinois State. Phil Fain, of all the things he does very well, free throw shooting is something he continues to work on, 48%. He's taken the second most attempts on the team, 120. Coming into today, that's his first free throw attempt of the night. And it is nails.
Fain really hasn't had the opportunity to get going in rhythm with this offense. Got in foul trouble early. Trying to get things going late.
1 of 2 for Phil Fain. 17-point lead for Illinois State at 5.5 to go. Mustafa Lawrence made a 3. Got another one. The New Jersey kid from Essex County Vocational High. And it's now a 14-point game with near 5 minutes. Those threes, when you make them, get you back in a hurry, don't they?
Well, Mustafa Lawrence picking up for Ryan Krecklow. That role would normally be assumed by Krecklow, but he hasn't been able to get things going. Give a lot of credit to this young man. Stepping in a tough situation and not afraid to shoot.
Grabbing the rebound, trying to at least, was Rhodes, and they say it went off Rhodes. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think that looked like Njai was the last one to touch it. Now Rhodes was over his back.
Then again, the officials are right there, and we're sitting at midcourt with headsets on.
Well, the film don't lie, Tom, right here.
Ooh. Now, Njai sold it.
Yes.
Can't look at it now. They're back in.
I was always taught the eye in the sky don't lie.
Williams for three. Yes, Madison Williams. And it's back to 17 for Illinois State with 4.5 to go. Illinois State led by as many as 25 here in the second half. They were up 9 at the break, and they have led throughout. Got off to a fast start and really haven't let up. Rhodes with the dish. Outside, Dixon took his time, missed. And the rebound, Williams, here they come. Fain, Yarbrough, lives it for Evans, no. Lawrence with the drive. And he'll go to the line. Illinois State in control under 4 minutes. Missouri State in jeopardy of losing its 4th straight game, down by 17 to Illinois State. Our players of the game, our presentation of the Grand Hall inside historic St. Louis Union Station. The Grand Hall comes to life nightly with an award-winning 3D light show. When making plans for your next trip to St. Louis, visit grandhall-stl.com for details. A double-double for Alizé Johnson for Missouri State, and Dane Malik Yarbrough didn't shoot the ball great, 4 of 13, but he has been extra effective, 14 and 7.
Well, both guys aren't really comfortable. I shouldn't say aren't happy with their total offensive production, especially beyond the arc. But you have to give them credit because how they've been able to put up those numbers, 14 and 7 for Yarbrough, and the double-double for Alizé Johnson is all close to the bucket. In the paint, the dirty work with rebounding and driving to the hoop, and it's really worked out much better, obviously, for Yarbrough.
Meanwhile, Mustafa Lawrence has checked in recently and has 7 points already. Lawrence, his first free throws of the season right there, and 1 of 2 from the line. Fans tuning in for the Bears saying, give me more Mustafa Lawrence. Lofting up for Fain, an easy 2. Boy, they're just eating it inside, just gobbling up points.
Well, this is give a lot of credit to Dan Muller, coaching up his players to understand the mismatches on the floor. Right now, the Bears are going with a small lineup, trying to open up the door for some deep range shooting as Yarbrough comes through with the turnover. But that opens the door up for Njai and Fain and Yarbrough to work behind this defense with the size mismatches.
Yarbrough just took that ball away from Lawrence. This one is tapped out of bounds off Illinois State. It'll be Missouri State ball with 3:07 to go, down by 18. We mentioned this is now in jeopardy of losing their 4th in a row to close out January. February doesn't get much easier as Miller scores for Missouri State. The Bears have to go to Loyola next, the #1 team in the league, then at Indiana State, an explosive team. Evansville here before they go to Southern Illinois. And that's all between now and Valentine's Day as Njai scores. 18 again.
How about what Loyola's doing and how well they've played all season long. Clayton Custer, the point guard for the Ramblers. Several players stepping up for that team.
J.T. Miller now in double figures with 10. Oh, you're right. When they brought Custer back, they just became that much better. And for me, right now, he's the Valley Player of the Year. It's still January.
Well, went to Iowa State as a freshman. Things didn't work out. Fred Hoiberg left. And he got the opportunity up in Chicago and really made the best of it. Really good baseball player. Not a lot of people knew that about Custer in high school.
Evans had to let it go. Yeah, what a great athlete he is. And boy, that Loyola team. Porter Moser has built that program. He has the great ties to Chicago, where he's from. You know, he's competing with that man in that area and elsewhere, the state of Illinois. And Missouri State right now is facing an Illinois State team that is playing well. They come off a win against Valparaiso, that late game on Saturday night. They looked good in that game. And now looking for back-to-back wins. They'll go back home and play Evansville and Southern Illinois to start the month of February. Then they go to Valparaiso. Take a look at our upcoming game, and that'll be Friday, February 2nd, women's basketball. Evansville plays Indiana State at the Ford Center. Coverage 7 p.m. Central, the Valley on ESPN3. And next men's game will be Wednesday the 7th. Northern Iowa hosting Bradley. Coverage at 7, the Valley on ESPN3. Here, Illinois State has led throughout, and with a minute and a half to go, looking to close out Missouri State. To stop for Lawrence. Goodness gracious. Another 3 for him. Good for the freshman, and maybe earning some playing time as the season goes along. He's in double figures with 10. He's hit all 3 of his threes.
Well, if you're Paul Luffs, got to love the effort and the energy this young man's bringing to this lineup in desperation mode in this game, down by as much as 25 points. He's brought them back, helped bring them back to just down by 13 at this point. Here's the young man lighting it up. Comes off the bench, hits his first shot. The energy he's brought to this team offensively and defensively right here. Shot clock down to 3. Knocks down a huge 3 right before the timeout.
Lawrence, the freshman, getting some attention here today. He has 10 points. Missouri State is 4 of 22 from 3. And Lawrence has 3 of those. He played 2 minutes at Bradley, 2 against Southern Illinois, 4 minutes at Evansville. Fired up a 3 and snagged a rebound in a win at Valparaiso. Got to think Mr. Lawrence is going to get a little more playing time now. 7 minutes and he scored 10.
Well, you haven't gotten a production on the perimeter by guys like Dixon and Rhodes. Obviously, Krecklow hasn't really gotten hot as well, so whatever it takes, if you got to get a young man off the bench that's not afraid at the moment, and obviously that's what we're seeing with Mustafa Lawrence.
That's the 6th foul this half for Missouri State. Their last foul to give, now out of bounds with 1:17 to go. Missouri State's going to try to extend this game as best they can, but down by 13 with 1:14 to go. So the foul there on Lawrence, that's his 2nd. And Keyshawn Evans, who's hit 3 threes today, 3 of 12 from 3. As a team, Illinois State has made 11 threes, 11 of 32. Over half of their attempts have been from three-point range. 32 of their 63 attempts. Rhodes, a three-point shooter, comes in for Church. They're going to try to launch here, but it is likely too late. As Evans and this Illinois State team, and there you have a miss by Krecklow. They're going to close this out and win this game with 1:04 to go. Illinois State is looking to improve to 6-5 on the season. This Illinois State team was thought to be in the middle of the pack. Again, a young group mixing in juniors, sophomore, freshmen.
No seniors.
No seniors. And this being the only team really in the Valley that can say that. I mean, there are some young teams in the Valley, but this is a team with a really bright future. By the way, the other game going on right now, Southern Illinois and Drake are locked in a 67-67 tie. They just hit the under 4 mark. So that's one to watch as well, as these standings are tight. Southern Illinois 6-4. If Illinois State wins this game and Southern drops one at Drake, or whatever the case, they'll be tied. One of those teams is going to drop to 6-5, and Illinois State will improve to 6-5. They're going to be right back in the mix at the top half of the valley. Missouri State, meanwhile, will drop to 5-6.
5-6, losing their last 4 games. And as you watch this team, I mean, if you're Paul Lusk, there are some positives that you can bring from this game. They did hustle all game. Defense was pretty solid. But when you're not able to knock down shots, it's going to be a long evening no matter who you're playing against. And they had this problem. They thought it was corrected. The last game, they had lost by 2 points, 79-77. Prior to that, had scored in the 50s. And we're really concerned about the offensive output. And now at 58 with 52 seconds left, they've kind of dropped back into that zone of concern on where the offense is going to come from. They sorely miss Reggie Scurry and what he brings to the table off the bench. There's Ronnie Russo, hadn't really gotten it going this evening. A lot to be expected by him. It was just one of those evenings.
Missouri State lost a tight game at Drake. Again, they were out-rebounded in that game, a smaller team out-rebounded. And that was a red flag. But before the Bradley game, they learned that 2 of their players, Reggie Scurry and Abdul Fofana, were going to miss some time. They developed foot blisters after a cryotherapy session. And those 2 players were gone in the game, and Missouri State lost by 20 at Bradley. They battled Southern Illinois here, a team that's very thin. The Salukis, Barry Hinson's done a marvelous job. We'll see how he turns out today at Drake. That game is tied with under 4 minutes to go. And then this one, certainly disheartening, as they are down by 15 with 44 seconds left against Illinois State. Paul Lusk has been up against it seemingly every year, now has another challenge on his hands here in this Valley season. Still some time. Still have games to go. I mean, you've got 7 games in the month of February, but we mentioned they're not easy. At Loyola, at Indiana State, at Southern, at Northern Iowa to wrap up the month of February.
I'm sure Paul Lusk is optimistic about this team and their capabilities. Earlier this season, many thought around this program, thought that this was the best team that he had in his career. Now they're not playing like it, especially over these last 4 games. You know as well as I do, Tom, if you get hot at the right time, Arch Madness right around the corner, if you can go into that with a 4-game win streak maybe against some tough opponents, you never know what could happen.
In the meantime, they'll try to figure out the right mix. And Illinois State has to feel great about their performance today. Going on the road and with 6.6 seconds on the clock, ready to secure a big victory over Missouri State. The final score, 76-60. Dan Muller beats Paul Lusk, and the Missouri State Bears are now 5-6 in league play. The preseason #1 has lost its 4th straight game. Illinois State, meanwhile, improves to 6-5, and they are in the mix. Southern Illinois leads Drake late in that game in Des Moines. And it's been a pleasure working with you again, Dana Hughes.
Same here.
Always good to hang with you. Well, Illinois State, they started out hot, and they didn't let up. Phil Fain with the jam. Malik Yarbrough with the extra effort. Relentless. And Illinois State gets a win on the road at Missouri State, 76-60. So for Dana Hughes, I'm Tom Ackerman saying so long from Springfield, Missouri. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other events on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. Thanks for watching tonight's contest. This has been a presentation of ESPN.